little yarnivores and arachnids. Fiber Spider back again with another tutorial for you. And today I'm going to show you how to knit up the feather and fan stitch. And this actually is one of my mother's personal favorites for making lap throw blankets for veterans. She does a lot of donation work, and this is her favorite stitch, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, this is a swatch. However, with a slight variation, you can create a really nice border so that a blanket or a scarf will be doable, but I just want to show you how to do the stitch. And surprisingly enough, it's only a 4-row repeat, and therefore really not that bad. So it's also one of her favorites. So we are going to be using today a worsted weight yarn, and I'm using size 10 needles, although that is of course totally up to you. This is just what I did. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? Okay. So I'm using my bamboo DPNs. And what I did was you need to cast on 18 stitches plus 2. The repeat is 18 stitches, and the 2 extra stitches are the edge stitches, the selvage. Now, if you're doing a blanket, you might want to do a border. So if you do a border, what my mom recommends, and I always listen to her, I know better than to than to not, what you would do is you would add 5 stitches on each side. So when you're casting on, it would be a multiple of 18 stitches plus 10 if you want a border. If you want to do a swatch like this, then it would be just 1 extra stitch on each side. So it's 18 plus 2 for something like this, or 18, multiples of 18 plus 10 if you want to do a border. Okay? So what I did was I cast on 18 plus 2, so that's a total of 20. And then for the first row, it's just all knit stitches. For the second row, it's all purl stitches. And then we get into the fun stuff. So I'm going to do a row of knit stitches, and then I'm going to do a row of purl stitches, and then we will come back and I will show you row 3 of 4. And the fourth row is just knit stitches. So the third row, that is the pièce de résistance. Now, if you want to add those extra stitches, what I would recommend is, since you're going to have a border on the sides, 5 stitches each, so what you would want to do is, instead of starting right in with the pattern here, what you would want to do actually is 5 rows of knit stitches. Now, I know this may sound all confusing, but I'm trying to give you some options because, well, variety is the spice of life. So what I would suggest first is doing a swatch of this first before doing that project. But if you like it, I would say, cast on the extra 10 and then do basically what it amounts to is about 1 inch of fabric of garter stitch. So it's all knit stitches for 5 rows, and then we'll start in with the piece here. Okay? I hope this makes sense. I really do. I'm trying to be as versatile and as helpful as possible, as always. So like I said, row 1 is all knits, and then row 2 is all purls. Okay? So I'll be right back. Okie dokie. So I knit a row, and then I purled a row. So as you can see, it's sort of a stockinette going on here just a little bit. Got my purl bumps on the back. All right. Now, we're going to start by knitting the selvage stitch. So that's going to be a knit of 1. Now, if you added 5 on each side, you would knit 5 at the beginning and you would knit 5 at the end. And what you would also do is, on the rows that you're doing purl stitches, you would knit those first 5 and knit those last 5 regardless of whether it's a purl side or a knit side. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so we knit our first stitch. Now, we are going to knit 2 together 3 times. Okay, now you could quite conceivably go in through the front here and knit your 2 stitches together like this. Now I find that that's really difficult, so lately I have been adopting sort of the slip slip knit kind of scenario here, where you're slipping one knitwise, slipping another one knitwise, and then getting back in through those 2 stitches is so much easier. Now this may be unorthodox, but it works. And that's what counts to me at any rate. So going back in and then knitting these 2 together. So that was one pair knitted together. So then slip, slip, and knit these 2 together. And then slip, slip, and then knit these 2 together. To me, personally, I just find that process to be so much easier because, quite frankly, that stitch has always given me a trouble. I don't know about you, but it has for me. So we knit the first one, then we knit 2 together 3 times. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over and knit 1 stitch 6 times. So to yarn over, we bring the yarn to the front and around, and we knit a stitch, like so. And we do this 6 times. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. And then we're going to knit 2 together 3 more times. So that's knitting 2 together, 2 together, 2 together, and then we're going to knit our last stitch here. And it's always good to count because when you're doing yarn overs and knit togethers, it can be a little daunting, but we can do this, right? So knitting these pairs together, so it's slip, slip, and then knit these 2 together, like so. And then slip, slip, and knit these 2 together, like so. And then slip, slip, and knit these last 2 together, and then we knit the last stitch. Or, as I said before, you would knit the last 5 stitches. Okay, now, the last row, row number 4, would be just knit stitches. And that creates the repeat. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit this row, and then I'm going to start the repeat once again and show you how it does actually work out. So the 4th row of the pattern is knit stitches. The 1st row is knit stitches, and the 2nd one is purl stitches. The 3rd one, that's the fun one, and that's what creates the really beautiful yet simple effect of the feather and fan. And so for 3 rows out of 4, you really don't have to think too much. It's not that bad. And that's why my mom likes the stitch, because for those 3 rows, she can be distracted, and so forth, and really doesn't make much of a difference. So it's another one of those patterns where once you know what row you are on, it's not that bad. You can pick it up quite easy, as opposed to those where it's like, oh yeah, a 20-row repeat, and you go crazy. All right, so this row is done here, and I will stop yammering for a bit. All right, so now as you can see, we have here our lovely little lacy holes, and on the edge we have our decreasing, so it's gathering in those stitches, and then in the center it was creating those eyelets. So it's really a beautiful pattern, and I would strongly suggest that if you are going to do this, I would suggest using a solid color yarn, because if you use a variegated, all of your work is going to be a little muddled and distracted with the color. So, as you can see here, also, it's kind of hard to spread out my stitches on these DPNs, but you can see what I'm doing. So, now here it was a repeat. It was 2 repeats, so I did 2 multiples of 18 with 1 selvage stitch on the edge. So as you can see over here, it was my knit 2 together 3 times, and then my yarn over knit 1 6 times, and then over here it was the knit 2 together. Now, because it was 2 repeats, so over here it was 3 pairs, knit 2 together 3 times, then yarn over knit 1 6 times. Now here, because I'm trying to make this comprehensible, because here it was do the knit 2 together 3, knit 2 together 3, right? Well, beginning and ending it's with 3, but because the repeat begins and ends with 3, so the ending of it here was knit 2 together 3 times. Then the beginning of the repeat is knit 2 together 3 times. So if you are doing more than 1 repeat, this middle section here is actually knit 2 together 6 times. So it's, sorry, yes. So it's knit 2 together 3 times, yarn over knit 1 6 times, knit 2 together 6 times, yarn over knit 1 6 times, knit 2 together 3 times. I hope that clarifies things a bit. And then, of course, if you are doing a blanket, when you reach the top, you would do about 5 rows of just knit stitches to create that garter edge. And actually, right here, I have the directions. So she recommends to cast on 154 stitches, multiple of 18 plus 10. So you're working the garter stitch for about 1 inch. And then you would knit those first 5 stitches, knit 2 together 3 times. Then you do the yarn over, knit 1 6 times. And then you do the knit 2 together 6 times. And then you're repeating. So, and then at the end, you would knit 2 together 3 times, and then you would knit those last 5 stitches, just like I said. So then, whatchamacallit, you would continue along, and so you would do the, 1 through 4, and then the 5 edge stitches are always knit, even on the purl sides. So listen, I really hope that makes sense to you. And of course, I'm always more than happy to answer questions and comments and things in the comment box below. More than happy to. Like I said, this is one of my mom's favorites, and I wanted to share it with you because she's in love with it, and when I started doing it, I'm like, oh, I see the appeal, and it looks so much more complicated than it actually is. So listen, I really hope that you give it a try because I did, and I feel all the better for it. So listen, if you like the video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so because I try to post videos as often as I can, as you very well know. And until next time, stay inspired, stay caffeinated, and above all, stay stitching. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.